Hey, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get started if y'all want to find your seats. All right. Thank y'all so much for coming. Welcome to our outgoing and incoming senators tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get started with kind of hybrid meetings, like kind of formal, kind of some elements of informal too. So I hope y'all are excited to kind of celebrate the year we've had together. So thank y'all very much. All right. I now call to order the very first meeting of the joint ASB Senate on April 5th at 7:31 p.m. All right, we will now have a moment of silence given by Senator Hollowell. Thank you, Senator Hollowell. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance given by Senator Mattson.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator Mattson. All right, we'll now invite up Secretary Hayward to call roll for the outgoing senators.
Amlong, Anderson, Ashmore, Beard, Burgess, Cooper, DeQuilla, DeBell, Day, Dedman, Durbindy, Drury, Greenwald, Gully, Harris, Hertz, Hollowell, Hughes, Jackson,
Here.
Johnston,
Here.
Jones Burdick, Kelly, Ladner, Lopez, Mattson, Monroe, Murphy, Neighbors, Nelson, Osmond, Patterson, Pierce, Purcell, Ricketts, Roberts, Ross, Ryan, Saloon, Smith, Stratinger, Turner, Wall, Watts, or Hannah Watts, Janie Watts, White, Williams, and Wilson. And then the Secretary-elect, Kaylin Steen, will now call roll for the new senators.
Thank y'all. And I would like to preface, if I pronounce your name wrong, please let me know after. Aburi, Alluri, Anderson, Austin, Briscoe, Brock, Hancock, Cook, Greenwald, Holt, Jones, Jones the fourth, Jones Burdick, Herring, Kelly, Mitchell, Murphy, Pepper, Perkins, Phillips, Ricketts, Roberts, Rushing, Skidmore, Still, Swartz, Sweatman, Taylor, Wall, Watts, York, Young, Robertson, Jones, Turner, Crow, Pierce, Oliver, Markey, Bonner, Cantu, Scruggs, Jackson Scruggs. Okay. Kipping, DeVos, Scuddy, Lowry, Kelly, Connor Kelly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all, secretaries, Hayward and Steen. I just want to preface, there will be some long walking between the stage tonight, so just be ready to applaud. That'd be great. Okay, so we have some very special guests who are going to give us some opening remarks. So first, I would like to invite up the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Charlotte Pegues, to give us some opening remarks.
Hey, hey. How are y'all? Awesome. Amazing. I like that. I have, I think, 4 minutes, maybe, to offer remarks. And I'm going to try to stay within the 4 minutes, maybe even less, so that Dean Marsh can have some extra time. But I appreciate very much the opportunity to address you tonight. I want to say thank you and also congratulations. So thank you to the outgoing senators. Thank you, Richard, for leading this very distinguished bunch. I'm so proud of the work that you've done, the dedication, the commitment, the professionalism in which you have served. I enjoy the opportunity to meet with Richard and Morgan monthly, bi-monthly. We meet often. So, and I'm always impressed by the fact that they come prepared to discuss certain items, and not once have they ever been self-serving. They've always been in an effort to improve the satisfaction, the comfort, the safety of the student body. Your on your home page, your ASB homepage, there's the motto or slogan, United to Serve. And so I believe that they wholeheartedly strive towards that. And so appreciate everything that you do. To all of you, I know it's a huge time commitment. And I also want to say congratulations to the incoming senators. And I want you to remember always that we are here to serve. You will put forward legislation that can make a difference. So what I urge you to do as senators is do your homework. And so I'm excited about Lila and Alex leading the charge here. I've worked with Alex already, and I know that she's a researcher, but that's what we're here for, to help. So whenever you have questions about pending legislation, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, to reach out to Dean Marsh or some other administrator on campus, because we want your legislation to be meaningful, right? We want it to be impactful, and we want it to make sense. You know, we don't want you to rush just to have your name as one of the authors of a pending piece of legislation. I would really like for it to be actionable. So we want you to have the best piece of legislation possible. We are not here to deter you. We are here to assist you. So congratulations. I'm looking forward to this next year working with you all. And if I can ever be of service to you, I'm located in 233 Lyceum. Yep. Phone number 5050. Email address CP Charlotte Pegues at olemiss.edu. So thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Pegues. And now we'll welcome Dean of Students, Dr. Brent Marsh, to the podium for some more opening remarks.
I'm not that high tech. You're too kind. I'm carrying paper, so that's not very high tech, but Richard is going to be my technical person. So thank you, Richard, and thank you, Dr. Deese, for all of your support for me and for all of our students. So I'm going to do something a little different because I didn't want to, sort of parrot. We didn't want to parrot each other or say all the same things. So I thought I would take a little bit of a different angle, and so I appreciate the extra minute or two, but I'll try not to take too long. But I wanted to share a few thoughts based off of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. How many of you have either heard of that or you've read it? All right, so quite a few hands have gone up. You've at least heard of it if you have not read it. Well, first, before I dive into that, though, I do want to say congratulations to our outgoing senators and other members of the legislative branch for a very successful year, and certainly good luck. To those, some of you I know are returning for another term in office, and or you're brand new to the legislative branch. And so excited to watch you work this next year, but also really thankful and really impressed with those who are wrapping up their terms in office. It's been a really, really good year, and I'm proud of all of the work that you all have accomplished. But again, I wanted to share a few thoughts from this text. And actually, since its initial publication in 1989, over 15 million copies have been sold. So pretty impressive. It means it must have made a difference in a lot of people's lives because they kept buying it. It's good stuff, and it still holds true today. So Covey was really big on character. Our character is a collection of our habits, and habits have a powerful role in our lives. Habits consist of knowledge, skill, and desire. Knowledge allows us to know what to do. Skill gives us the ability to know how to do it. And desire is the motivation to do it. So even if you won't be engaged next year with ASB, because maybe you didn't run again or you're graduating, I hope these next few minutes will prove helpful. And if you're going to be serving in ASB, I'm trying to bring home a few messages that I think will relate to your term this next year. So habit 1. I will not read everything on the screen. I trust you can do that. I'll just make a few additional comments. So the first habit is to be proactive. What things can you control or influence? It's important to be proactive in improving and evaluating those things in your life that you can influence, that you do have control over. So take care of your interior self. Things can get awfully frustrating in here if you're having a hard time feeling like you can control what's happening in the Senate chamber or other areas of your lives on campus. But it's all the more frustrating if we don't have some good proactive work happening to control those things in our life. The second habit is to begin with the end in mind. This is one of my favorites, actually, of the Covey principles. I always challenge. I'm one of the advisors, kind of the primary advisor, I guess, for Mortar Board, which is a senior honor society for college students. And every year, as I get to start meeting with the new exec, I challenge them with this phrase: begin with the end in mind. And so I ask them, and I'll ask you, what do you want to have achieved by this time next year? This can also be certainly applicable for your ASB term in the short run, but it's a really important question to ask yourself for the long run as well. What kind of a person do you want to be in the future? And are you on the path to becoming that person? So begin with the end in mind. Next is habit 3, put first things first. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities before you in your lives, in your ASB office, your term of office this next year. So it's gonna be important to be realistic about what you say yes to, and try to be sure the selections make sense as far as your role, your scope, because you could get overwhelmed pretty quickly if you aren't a little bit mindful of that. So it's going to be, again, especially important as the demands begin to pile on, as you get busier and busier with your year, to make sure that you're putting first things first. You're really managing your life according to needs, priorities, and using that same kind of filter to affect your role here in ASB. Okay, next habit is think win-win. I think this is really important for the kind of collaborative work that you're going to strive to do here on campus, or again, for those of you that are outgoing that you've already done. And hopefully you can look back on the year and think, you know what, we really did strike some win-win deals with that particular piece of legislation, or with that partnership with community partners. So, you're going to be working with administration, maybe with faculty, other students, or even community leaders. So always try to strive for that win-win opportunity whenever you can. The fifth habit is to seek first to understand and then to be understood. Can we all agree this is a tough one? It definitely is, because we want to be heard. We want to make sure that our ideas are out there, or people know how we feel about something. But to be really effective, it's even more important to first seek to understand. It might be the most difficult habit of all, but to be truly effective leaders, we need to cultivate really good listening skills and think about issues from others' perspective. The sixth habit is to synergize. The old saying that two heads are better than one. Oftentimes, it's interesting in university life, there are people that can be focused on maybe the same issue or the same problem, or they're trying to do some of the same programming or education, and they might not even realize that there's someone else in another area of campus doing that very same work or something very, very similar. So it's important as you think about, again, kind of back to Dr. Pegues's point, do your research, do your homework. I did put the same thing. It's important to do lots of research to ensure that you have a complete understanding of the issues and all the players that might be involved in any given arena or topic area. And then you might be able to be a person who gets the opportunity to facilitate some synergy and to build some bridges and some connections between different areas of campus. Then the seventh habit that he ended his initial book with is called Sharpen the Saw. ASB can be very demanding, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. However, you won't be nearly as effective if you don't take care of other important priorities in your lives. Be sure that you don't neglect your academics, your physical and spiritual wellness, and your social and emotional wellness. And then in 2004, he published a new book called The Eighth Habit, From Effectiveness to Greatness. And he recognized that while the 7 habits are still really, really important, there was an 8th habit that he thought was very, very relevant. And he recognized that the challenges and complexity that were faced by leaders moving through the 90s and into the early 2000s were of a different order and magnitude. And I'd say that 18 years since that book's publication, it's even more so. So the challenge then is to find, as he says, find your voice and inspire others to find theirs. And this really relates to the ASB mission, which I've posted part of on the slide. And you know what it is: to serve selflessly and to represent justly the student body by prioritizing students' interests and needs above personal ambition and prejudice. And then again, it ends with elevating the student voice to campus leadership. So that is the 8th habit, and one that I hope you all will embrace. Embrace those 7 habits, become effective, and then move forward into greatness by finding your voice and inspiring others to find theirs. So before I conclude, I definitely want to echo Dr. Pegues and say thank you to Richard, to your entire team for what's been a really great year. You all have accomplished a lot this year. I also want to say a special thank you to the advising team sitting back there in the back, to, yes, right, Edward and Sophie and Haley and Will. They've been amazing to get to serve alongside, and they truly do the heavy lifting. So thanks to, let's give them all a hand, and thanks to all of you for all that you've done. Appreciate the opportunity. Y'all have a great night.
Thank both of y'all so much for being here and for y'all's leadership. They truly are good resources for y'all who are coming up. So we appreciate y'all as always. Thank you. And I just want to preface our kind of agenda by saying a few things. First, I hope y'all noticed we tried to seat y'all next to your incoming / outgoing counterpart. So I hope that if not in the first portion, kind of afterwards, you'll have a chance to introduce yourselves if they're here. If not, be sure to meet other either outgoing or returning senators and try to get to know them. So it's a great opportunity. And yeah, I just want to say I'm not great at improv, so I will be reading off of this script for a lot of this, if y'all don't mind. But definitely just want to echo Dean Marsh and Dr. Pegues's sentiments. Thank y'all very much for being here tonight and for all of your leadership, both outgoing and incoming. I'm excited to welcome everybody to the first meeting of the joint ASB Senate. So outgoing senators, incoming senators, lead council members, and guests, thank y'all for taking the time to be here and celebrate the accomplishments of our Senate from the past year, but also look toward a bright future for our incoming Senate members. As I previously mentioned, my name is Richard Springer, and I'm currently finishing my term as the ASB Vice President. And just to kind of give y'all some background, Joint Senate is an idea that I actually got from SEC Exchange last summer, and that's a conference that all SEC student government executive boards attend during the summer to exchange ideas. So Joint Senate is something that the University of Tennessee did at the end of every year, and I thought it was a great idea to give y'all an opportunity to network with one another and kind of have that transition to the next Senate session. And please, I want y'all to help me thank Vice President-elect Alex Neighbors for coordinating the evening with me, for all of our incoming senators that are here. If y'all will help me give her a round of applause. So our first kind of action item to help break the ice, and I know something a lot of our outgoing senators are looking forward to. I'm about to invite up President Pro Tempore Lila Osman to award our outgoing senators with their superlatives. So each year for the final Senate, our senators submit fun superlatives for one another. They might be wholesome, they might be funny, or like an inside joke from the year, and they're awarded at the last Senate. So for instance, Lila didn't want to know what hers was ahead of time, so I'll be awarding hers. And just keep in mind, these are submitted by other senators. So Lila, I'd like to award you with most likely to give the State of the Union address wearing a bar wristband from the night before. So I'll now welcome up Lila to give our superlatives.
Richard, well, nobody be surprised next Tuesday at the banquet if I have a wristband on them. Okay, so first we have most likely to be called first for roll, which is Jonathan Amlong, because his last name comes first. So sweet. Yeah. Most likely to star in ASB the musical, Reese Anderson. Next, we have most likely to drop the mic after speaking, Brandon Ashmore. This one's really sweet. Best listener, Bailey Beard. This one is also very kind, most likely to make someone smile, Amy Burgess. Y'all are all so kind. Most likely to remind her committee chair what day of the week it is Kanasia Cooper. Most likely to end world hunger, Jonathan DeBell. Most likely to know any and all Disney facts, Anna DeQuilla. This is a really big one. Best facial hair, Jack Day. Most likely to get free tickets at student athletic events, Will Dedmond. The ASB Senate Voice of Reason, Blaine Gerbigny, which we've been saying incorrectly the entire year. Best style, Lauren Kate Drury. This won't surprise anyone, but most determined, Mason Greenwald. Sorry. This is a really big one. Sexiest senator. Sorry, William Gully. Not even here. I'm gonna I also told Richard I would read that one, but I was trying not to laugh, but it's so true. Biggest girl boss, Demetrius Harris. Most likely to have an impactful debate comment, Kennedy Hertz. Most likely to become a future Supreme Court Justice, Gray Hollowell. Most thoughtful, Crystal Hughes, and Crystal is on Zoom.
Thank y'all.
Most likely to host an ASB talk show, Ben Jackson. The Miss Congeniality Award goes to Anna Johnston. And the Dolly Parton of ASB Senate, big surprise, Anastasia Jones. And Dolly is coming this weekend, so if anybody sees her, tell her that we know her doppelganger. Best networker, Taylor Kelly. Most likely to skip Senate to study for a test, Amelia Ladner. Probably, yes. Most likely to attend Senate after dark, Bennett Madsen. This is true. Most opinionated, Wake Monroe. Most proficient recycler, Ben Murphy. Did you see you use recycle, you guys? Most interesting facial expressions during Senate, Alex Neighbors. So she's gonna have a really fun time up here at the podium next year. Most intuitive, Liam Nelson. True. Most likely to be watching sports during Senate, Walker J. Patterson. Biggest heart, Hayden Pierce. Most likely to get 2 hours of sleep and still make it to Senate, Jen Purcell. Most likely to win the Great British Bake Off, Rachel Ricketts. And most likely to be loud and proud when wearing cowboy boots, Wade Roberts. Most likely to be working with her polymers, Macy Ross. Most likely to ask to Zoom over a school break to discuss legislation, our very own Maddie Ryan. You covered your face, so you knew. You knew. Most likely to be secretly passionate about ASB, Teal Saloom. We all know now. Most likely to make ASB a monarchy and make himself king, David Smith Jr. We got to fight for it if you want it. Kindest heart, Axel Soto Lopez. This one's funny. I didn't see this one beforehand. Most likely to not know we had a meeting, Alex Stranger. Most likely to dress up when we don't have to, Lauren Turner. I'm sorry. Most likely to go to a date party with another senator, Kate Wall. The beauty of having Senate on Tuesdays is you get to see where everyone's going after Senate because you can tell by their outfit. Most likely to be Chancellor of UM in the future, Hannah Watts. And most likely to be thinking about engineering during Senate, Janie Watts. Most likely to host a cookout at ASB 365, Jonathan White. This one's really kind. Most loyal friend, Devin Williams. Most likely to vote no on random legislation, Genevieve Wilson. Most likely to do stand-up comedy during legislation presentation, Byron Sweatman. Most likely to never add in committee attendance, our very own Jack Walker. He won't do it now. He said he was gonna get gritty when my name was called, but he didn't. Most likely to give you a smile on a bad day, Catherine McCulley. Most likely to have a perfect playlist for any situation, Clay Hale. If you want to drop your Spotify later, you can. If you want to. Oh, Radio Rebel. Most likely to be the next GovOps chair, Helen Phillips. It's like actually. Most likely to actually ask a question in informal Senate, Dylan Desai. Most underrated leg aid, in parentheses underneath, we love you, Graham Speed. Most likely to try and fix a niche campus issue, Azalea Smith. The quickest Senate setup queen, Jenna Cripe. Most likely to hunt you down for your CE forms, Abby Wilbur. Most likely to know the exact status of every single piece of legislation at any time, Amy Rhodes. Best graphic designer on this planet, Kinley Miller. Most likely to bang the gavel in class, Clark Etzel. Sorry, this one's funny. Most likely to read very intense opinions in a monotone voice, Caroline Newsom. And last but not least, the best leg aid mom, Olivia Maurer.
All right. Lila, do you want yours? All righty. Thank you for those, Lila. And to our incoming senators, I hope that that's a nice tradition for y'all to look forward to at the end of your term. So we're now going to invite up Sophie Cantu, our current ASB graduate assistant, to recognize our graduating legislative branch members.
Hey y'all. So I'm going to name all of our graduating seniors, and if y'all don't mind coming up here to receive your certificate from Will, and then staying up to take a photo at the end, please. So Jonathan Amlong, Jack Day, Jonathan White, Gray Hollowell, Liam Nelson, Jake Spiva, Anna DeQuilla, Olivia Maurer, Devin Williams, Lauren K. Drury, Kanasia Cooper, Amy Rhodes, and Bennett Matson. Congrats, y'all.
How we doing this?
All right, senior year on 3.
Thank you for those, Sophie. And by the way, if we miss anybody with any of these awards at all, it was kind of all based off Google Forms. So just see us afterwards and we'll make sure to get y'all a certificate. But thank y'all very much for your service, whether it was your first year or your fourth. We really appreciate y'all. All right, we are now going to transition into our final committee updates of the year. So for all of our incoming senators, just to preface, at the beginning of each Senate meeting, we start with updates from our committee chairs. They tell us what ideas they're pursuing, what legislation they've written, and what projects they've accomplished during the past week. I'd like to give each committee chair the opportunity to tell for our incoming senators a little bit about what their committee does and what they're about, what they've been working on and or accomplished throughout the past year, as well as what they hope to pass on to the next committee chair and the next committee to work on next year. So this will be an opportunity for y'all to figure out where you guys might fit in the next year. So first, as always, I'll invite up Senator Maddie Ryan, Chair of the Committee on Governmental Operations.
It's our turn here. Awesome. Hello, everyone. As Richard said, my name is Maddie Ryan. I am the current and outgoing GovOps chair. And this past year, GovOps wrote 23 bills and co-sponsored 3 pieces of legislation or resolution, 3 resolutions, ranging from elections reform, job updates in the code, condemning state legislation, and our biggest project, which was revising the ASB code entirely. And so I'm so sorry, outgoing senators who have heard me talk about this multiple times. But for the new senators, essentially there was previously like 100+ pages divided up into 7 titles of the code, which is the guiding document of the organization. And it includes like the job descriptions, and responsibilities, Senate seat apportionment, business procedures, elections regulations, code of conduct and ethics, and even guidelines for choosing campus honors like Who's Who and Hall of Fame. And alongside the DOJ, Department of Justice, we took the old code title by title and eliminated unnecessary language and outdated practices, stuff like that, and then rewrote and reorganized it to suit the current state of ASB affairs. And this was a semester-long process that eventually, now I hope that with this newish code, future senators can be able to keep amending it, but it will be a lot clearer and easier to read, and also easier to read for the student body. And yeah, so super exciting. And then I think with the code revision in the fall and then significant elections reform that we did in the winter, there was a lot that we probably would have liked to work on that we didn't get to touch because those were just really time consuming just to do it right. And so I hope that in the future GovOps may work, with other departments in ASB, doing the Zoom meetings, as my superlative mentioned, and looking for more ways to strengthen ASB internally so that the organization can serve to the best of our ability externally. And that's kind of how I view GovOps. And I hope that also I will be serving as Attorney General next year. And so that's the Department of Justice. And so I hope that, Department of Justice and GovOps will have a great partnership. I think our committee did really well also, like just our committee working as a team. I don't think we could have done it without all of us like being committed to the goals that we had, kind of seeing with the beginning with the end in mind as the habits. And I hope to pass that along too, is that really working together, collaboration, that's what Senate's about. And so I'd like to shout out my committee, which was Wake Monroe, Kate Wall, Gray Hollowell, Dee Harris, Brandon Ashmore, Jen Purcell, Crystal Hughes, and then our fabulous legate, Helen Phillips. They were amazing. And also our honorary members, Lila and Amy, they were sort of kind of in GovOps. But yeah, so they were awesome. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Maddie, for that report on governmental operations. Next, we have Senator Anastasia Jones Burdick, Chair of the Committee on Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement.
Hi, you all. Good afternoon. As Richard introduced, my name is Anastasia Jones Burdick, and I've had the pleasure of serving on the Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement Committee since I started in Senate. And so the past 2.5 years of my life have been very dedicated to ICCE, and it is my pleasure to introduce it to you tonight. According to the code, new senators, the Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement Committee has jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the Office of Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement. So that's the CICCE right downstairs, and shall aim to promote inclusion within the Senate and the ASB. So what does this mean, right? Well, obviously we provide programs and services through the university that encourage cross-cultural interactions between students, faculty, and staff, and provide a physical space that's both nurturing and welcoming for students of diverse backgrounds. We work, our main principle is to lead in service in alignment with the UM code and to our student body, first focusing on addressing basic need, ensuring security in their equal opportunity that they have here, and understanding what the ideal progress for UM is as defined by our student body. So as a previous senator, Maddie Ryan, shouted out, I just want to highlight some of the really impactful works of my committee, even though we didn't have a ton of legislation this year. Blaine, who is our graduate school senator, he worked with them on many collaborations. ICCE has the wonderful privilege of collaborating with all the branches of ASB, but also committees. So he worked on an infrastructure project that it gives visually, auditory, and sensory accommodations to signage across campus. Unfortunately, that's now stalled. Axel Soto Lopez worked to improve communication to students that are not traditionally subscribed to ASB. We also worked with environmental sustainability in addition to all of our social sustainability efforts. I'm really proud to say that ICCE, like I said, is focused on security of students and their equal opportunity here on campus. So what that looks like is addressing your basic needs. So I'm again really proud to say that we've worked on projects pertaining to childcare, housing, food security, and while that may be, something that we all take for granted some days, we really again want to engage students with diverse backgrounds. We also have the opportunity to serve as a liaison with the Student Services Office, the Student Veterans Association, as well as our executive counterpart, which also includes the Council for an Inclusive Community. We also really try to make sure that our mission is closely, as I mentioned, related to the mission of students and the needs of students. So a lot of our work this year has pertained to outreach, making sure that we can optimize that outreach. And what that looks like is also making sure that we have engagement opportunities for students. So Mason Greenwald also worked with the SIF to make sure that we had that for students to promote their interests, as well as Bailey, who got a superlative basically for this wonderful work she did for students with intellectual disabilities. So as you can see, ICCE can be a home for anyone, just as it serves all students. I hope that you all can find a home within ICCE, that you collaborate with ICCE, and that you let inclusion and the principles of equal opportunity drive you within all of the work that you do for Senate. So if you have any questions pertaining to any of our work, please feel free to stop me, message me, do any of that. So thank you all, and that is our committee update.
All right. All right, thank you, Anastasia. Next, we'll have Senator Will Dedman, Chair of the Committee on Athletics.
Thank you, Richard. Hey, everybody. My name is Will Deadman. I am the outgoing athletic chairman for this year. And just to kind of give a breakdown of what we do. So the athletic committee here in ASB, anything that pertaining to student athletics, student experience at sporting events or anything like that, all that falls under our jurisdiction and what we do. So for instance, we actually did not have any legislation passed this year. But what we did keep in contact with was the assistant AD for fan experience, Paris Buchanan. We kept in contact with him, like for like what I was mentioning earlier, student ticketing for baseball and basketball games this season to get those free. And hopefully, we tried to get in the works for pushing flex and all sporting events for other than football. And whoever the upcoming athletic chairman is for that, we hope that you'll be able to get that done. But if that's kind of all we had, but if there's any questions you have pertaining to the athletic committee, please let me know or reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Will. Next, we'll have Senator Taylor Kelly, the chair of the Committee on Student Life, give her final committee update.
All right, y'all. So hi, my name's Taylor Kelly. I had the honor of serving as the Student Life Chair this year. And just to break down what Student Life is, that's anything pertaining to student life. It's exactly what it sounds like. So anything having to do with Aramark, which is the food down in the student union, clubs, honor, support centers, resources on campus, anything like that. We have a very wide range of jurisdiction that we can deal with. So, like my superlative said, it takes a lot of networking skills in order to do that. But we stayed busy this year because our main goal was to enhance student life. And I'm really proud to say that I think that was something that we were able to accomplish this year. So some of the things that we did this year were pertaining to mental health resources. We were able to pass some legislation that dealt with making sure that people had access to mental health resources on campus, like William McGee University Counseling Center, anything like that. We got wait times down. We're making it to where professors are encouraged to list resources on their syllabi and to talk about it in their classrooms. So that's something that we're going to be seeing in the next coming year. And I'm hoping that whoever is the next chair of student life continues to work on that as well. We also had the privilege of working with the Ford Center to get more productions into that center. Reese Anderson and Hayden Pierce did a wonderful job doing that. So hopefully we'll be able to see more productions in there as well. So we also got Chick-fil-A breakfast back. That was a really popular thing that got done. Yeah, we're working on getting grilled stuff done as well. So that's something we're really, really happy about. But as of today, we are working with Kaylin and Raza to work on getting more tabling and programming for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So hopefully next week on Wednesday, we'll be seeing more programming and just to bring awareness to this situation. And hopefully we'll be able to work on that throughout the entire month as well. So we also worked with academics to discuss universal grading systems on campus. And we worked with external affairs to get more SANE certified nurses overnight on campus. So as you can see, we had a lot going on. We have a lot more going on that we're hoping to do in the future, such as getting mental health days for students, getting programming for mental health, more on campus, more than just at ASB 365, but something that you regularly see. So I just really want to thank everyone on my committee. They did such a great job. We had such great collaboration, such great networking skills from everybody on my committee. Just a personal thank you from me to the next people who are on student life. Y'all are in for a great ride. We are going to have so much going on. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's really rewarding. And hopefully you'll find your home on this committee.
Thank you very much for that update, Taylor. Next, we'll have Senator Hannah Watts in place of the chair on infrastructure, Jonathan Amlong, who could not be here tonight, to give the final committee update for the Committee on Infrastructure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah Watts,
And so I wanted to share just a few things about what we have been able to do this past year on our committee infrastructure. And before I do that, I'm going to talk about some things in our code that we are able to do on this committee. That ranges from anything with working with housing, working with the Office of Sustainability in conjunction with the Green Fund, and doing a lot of different things in order to improve the facilities for students on this campus. So now in this past year, our committee on infrastructure, we have worked with facilities management to fill potholes into commuter lots on campus, as well as on Fraternity Row. We've also worked with them to put do not enter signs on the back of the one-way road on Dormitory Row West. And as well, we have worked with them to install a new curb cut in the crosswalk in front of the Union to make it more accessible. We passed Senate Resolution 22-5 to facilitate the installation of a new sidewalk and crosswalk near the parking lot from the KA House. And we have also replaced an aging bike rack at the Jackson Avenue Center. And now Senator Roberts will talk about our future plans.
How are y'all? My name is Wade Roberts, and with Hannah, we were both actually senators at large on the infrastructure committee, which meant that we came in late in the year because of a special election to join. And so we both look forward to hopefully being on this committee again in the future. And because of that, we've worked with some of the current committee members to set some sort of a loose agenda of what we might hope to see accomplished in the next term. The first and the most prevalent is with pack mail. So we hope to work with university housing to expand pack mail in Brown Hall, which we all know is technically a student dorm. And so pack mail has had some issues when it comes to revitalizing and revamping their facilities. And so we hope to work with them to try to make pack mail more accessible for students and more efficient on their end. We also want to look into improving lighting on campus, especially in front of Crosby Hall and the crosswalk between Crosby Hall and the Student Union, just for the safety of students in those areas, but also just around campus with general lighting improvements. We hope to continue regular meetings with faculty and staff organizations on campus like facilities management. Our committee it's very important in infrastructure committee to keep close relationships with university staff because those are the people who we're dealing with mostly. It's a lot of work outside of official Senate sessions because we are recommending for potholes to be filled and sidewalks to be built, like Hannah said. And so that relationship between our committee and university staff is very, very important. We also want to look into the possibility of rideshare scooters on campus. They're in major cities across the US and they're even on some college campuses. It is about improving accessibility of students to move around campus efficiently. And we think that would be a great opportunity that we could take up to help students get to their classes. We also want to work with the Office of Sustainability to improve the community garden near the RC South and Lucky Day dormitories and get that funded. And yeah, we hope that you all look into joining our committee. It's a lot of fun and good people on it. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Senator Watts and Senator Roberts, for those final updates. Next, we'll have Senator Neighbors, Chair of the Committee on Academics, give her final committee update of the year.
Hey y'all, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alex Neighbors and I was lucky enough to serve as the academic chair this year. So to just in a general sense, give an idea of what the academic committee and what's academic and administration committee take care of. Obviously, like name sounds, anything academic. So I think the biggest thing we did this year was establish a connection and regular meetings with administration. So they're currently hiring a new associate provost and assistant provost. So those roles will be filled soon. But this past year, we were able to meet with Vice Chancellor Pegues very regularly, and those meetings were extremely productive. And honestly, some of the most productive meetings that I've been in with the academics committee over the last 2 years, because I was on it both years. So those regular meetings are really exciting because I think that we got to explore a lot of potential projects and answer a lot of questions that we've had, small and large. And it really brought a lot of great conversations and a lot of projects that I'm excited for the academics committee to work on next year, because it's going to be my favorite because I was on academics committee. So there was a lot of great projects that we did, however, get accomplished besides getting those conversations and those relationships rolling. Predominantly the textbook drive we began this year. Alex Stranger headed that, and that was in partnership with the Lyceum Locker. So that was a textbook drive at the end of the semester to get textbooks from students that would donate them. And then in exchange, they got like a $5 gift card to Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or something. So a small reward, but often those textbooks get neglected, thrown out, forgotten about. And there's students on our campus who could really use those textbooks. So it was a great partnership, and I'm excited to see that continue in the future. And recently we did work with the HELP grant. So there were proposed changes for some of the scholarships within Mississippi. And so we helped with legislation that addressed some of those concerns. We also had a piece of legislation concerning teaching awards. So previously, some of the teaching awards were only able to be given to tenured faculty. So we proposed a legislation that would hopefully change that so that all faculty, not just tenured ones, can be eligible for those teaching awards, because they do make up such a large portion of our teaching staff. And then finally, one of the biggest projects that we're still working on with administrators is improvements on advising. This is something that has been concerns for almost all students in all academic schools in all years. And so that's something that I think academics committee for the next few years will be working on. And I'm really excited that our administrators, specifically Vice Chancellor Begees, Carmen Riggin over in liberal arts, she's been phenomenal. Both of them have in hopefully getting this pushed forward and getting these changes enacted and finding ways that we can improve advising for all students. And so that's not going to be one piece of legislation. And a lot of times for academics committee, it's not. It's going to be the slow changes, the conversations, getting those policies changed on a higher level. So those are big things coming for academics committee, but I'm really proud of all of the work we've been able to accomplish this year. And you guys have big shoes to fill, because I'm really excited about academics committee. You guys are going to do great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Neighbors, for those final updates. Finally, to bring us home, we have Senator Mattson, Chair of the Committee on External Affairs.
Okay. Again, I'm Bennett Mattson. I'm the outgoing external affairs guy, committee member. So external affairs, pretty much how it works is that it has three main things that it's looking for. It's student and alumni connections. It's any type of advocacy when it comes down to a city, a state, a county, or a national level. So we do a lot of student advocacy stuff. And it's also work in philanthropy. So I've really had a privilege of being able to work on this committee, and me and my committee members have been able to do a lot of really cool stuff. So how it kind of works is a lot of it comes down to just meetings. So we have monthly meetings with Mayor Tannehill, usually monthly meetings with the chief of police, which is really cool. And during that, we were able to pass legislation to the Board of Aldermen to establish a transportation hub on 3 locations on the square. We were actually involved with the distribution and creation of the drug testing kits that you can get across campus, not only in the ASB office, but also on the square in the Safe Site place. We've worked with the Oxford Community Market to get student rewards cards for students to kind of like encourage them to eat healthy. We've done a lot of really cool stuff when it comes down to creating connections, creating impacts, and really trying to doing student advocacy on a level that really makes a consistent change. Change doesn't come in a single day, but with external affairs, some of the stuff that we're doing, we're getting the steps in the right direction. I'm really looking forward to what the next external affairs committee member is going to do. I was thinking about coming back for a victory lap just so I can do some of the stuff, but alas, I am leaving. So some of the projects I'm kind of leaving onto anybody else that wants to get involved with this is working on trying to get onto the county board, trying to get a memo on it to try to do something about the Confederate statue that's in the middle of the circle. Talks with Mayor Tannehill, it isn't like actually city property. So we have to go, if we want to make any type of change when it comes to that, is working through the county level and try to get on their memo there. Another thing is continue to partner with the Oxford Community Market. We worked to get a farmers market day on campus, and that was really cool. And I wanted us to continue to do that, not only trying to do 2 per semester, but also trying to continue to get those Oxford rewards cards out, purely because it's good to eat good food. I know I don't have the best diet, but with the rewards card, I'm slightly more incentivized to do so. And really trying to continue the connection with the OPD. I feel like out of all the things that we were all able to accomplish, that's probably the most interesting one, because ASB historically has not had that connection. So really trying to continue that, whether it's drug testing coasters, trying to do what we did with the athletics department, is getting like infographics on the jumbotrons during sports games, and just continuing where we all left off and trying to make an actual impact in the lives of every student. Because we're all here to have a good time. We're all here to be safe during it. So external affairs is a great way. If anybody wants to do some fun student advocacy and really trying to get your name out there, please do so. I've had the best time doing that, especially with all my committee members. The ones that are here, Byron Sweatman, you are the best leg aide I've ever had. And you're the only one. Ben Murphy, who was gracious enough to work on getting a parent alumni, no, just an alumni list for all of the outgoing senators for the next year, so we can start to make a strong ASB alumni network. And finally, Anna Johnston, for all of your hard work with talking to the Rebel Rangers people. I wonder if that's ever going to happen, but we're still with it. Okay, I'm praying. But again, external affairs, I would not do another committee purely because how much fun I have doing it. And it is really something you get creative with. Like, I love these connections you didn't end up having for this, but I just kind of said, why not? And just end up talking to people. And once you get talking to people, that's when things start going. So yes, external affairs is awesome. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you very much, Bennett, and to all of our committee chairs for those final updates. I hope incoming senators that gave y'all some idea of what each committee does and where you might see yourself going into the next year. And then just to also add that our President Pro Tempore Lila Osman has a transition document for each future committee chair that she'll provide to the next President Pro Tempore once they're elected at the next formal Senate on April 19th. Yes, so yeah, so y'all look forward to that. Now we'll have some of our members of the Legislative Council speak on their work throughout the previous year. So to give all of you some background, the Legislative Council acts as the cabinet of the Vice President. Each of their main jobs is different, but they all provide senators with the resources they need to research and write legislation. They do everything from appointing our legislative aides, who are our freshmen and first-year members in the chamber, to connecting senators with registered student organizations on campus, to routing legislation from the Senate all the way to the desk of the chancellor. The Legislative Council members are here to help you. So unfortunately, 2 of our members, Executive Assistant Abby Wilbur and Campus Liaison Caroline Newsom, could not be here tonight. So we're going to start with Senate Chief of Staff Jenna Kripe. We're going to welcome her to the podium to provide an overview of her work and the work of Abby and Caroline throughout the year.
Hey, everybody. Like Richard said, my name is Jenna Kripe. I was this year's Senate Chief of Staff. Hey, Jax. We had a great year. And like Richard said, the main goal of Leg Council is to be there to make your lives easier, really, and just help Senate run as smoothly as possible. So as Chief of Staff, I oversee our Executive Assistant, Abby, who, like Richard said, could not be here tonight, our 2 legislation monitors, Amy and Kinley, our Senate Parliamentarian Clark, Campus Senate Liaison Caroline, who's also not here, and then historian Olivia Maurer, and our Sergeant at Arms, Jake Spiva. And I also help Richard as much as I can whenever he needs it. So we had a couple of changes in the way that Senate ran this year, but most notably a change in how informal Senates run. So for those of y'all who this year was not your first year, you might remember last year it was like an unstructured sort of, like, you just have committee meetings during informal Senate. So we moved to having panels during informal Senate with like specific topics. I personally loved that change. I think it's way more productive and more efficient. And the main goal of that was just to set topics to hopefully inspire questions on how we can produce better legislation like that we wouldn't even think about doing, or to just give some more information on things that you're already working on. So some of the topics that we had this year were academics, diversity and community engagement, athletics, and more. So that's only, I mean, we had more last semester. Those are just one from this semester. But there are so many different things you could do a panel on. So for those of you who are in Senate next year, or anybody who's thinking about the leg council, please keep doing the panels, and please just, I don't know, like they're like the best thing you could do. Also, if anybody's interested in any of those positions and has any questions about them, like if you're not coming back to Senate, come find us. We're really nice and can answer your questions about them. And then also, like Richard said, I'm speaking on behalf of Abby and Caroline. So here are their remarks. I'm going to read straight from the screen. From Abby. Thank you all so much for a great year of constituency engagement. We have over 300 hours of engagement recorded for the year. It's been really fun working with y'all this year, and I look forward to seeing where next year takes us. For everybody who doesn't know, even though Abby's not here tonight, she's taken my job. So she will be Alex's chief of staff. Yay, 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 Abby. She's awesome. And then from Caroline, hey guys, thank you so much for a year of taking thoughtful consideration of the student opinion forms submitted. We collected a total of 68 student opinion forms this year. Thank you for being so receptive and attentive. Working with y'all has been a blast, and I'm excited to see what the future has in store for ASB Senate. Sweet, okay. And sort of like what they all said to this year's senators, you guys have done a great job of just showing up. This was my second year working on Leg Council, and it was by far my favorite. Not only did you show up for each other, but for your specific area that you're working through, and just for the student body in general. So congrats, y'all. It's been a great ride.
Alrighty. Thank you to, oh, we're good. Thanks for those updates from Jenna, and on behalf of Abby and Caroline. And I saw Alex kind of push this, but if y'all are interested in applying for Leg Council, her application is open still. Yes, so true. Yeah, so perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Jenna. Next, I would like to invite our Senate parliamentarian, Clark Edsel, to the podium to give his reflection on our year.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. My name is Clark. My name is Clark, and I was the parliamentarian, which means that I helped Richard enforce the rules of the Senate and help everything move smoothly. And love you, Anastasia. When I first walked into my first Senate, this Senate technically last year, I remember kind of being frustrated because I had no idea what was going on. And I realized that a lot of other new senators didn't know when they were supposed to speak, or when they were supposed to be asking questions, or whether they should stand up to speak or raise their placard, or what to do. And I felt really frustrated because I too didn't realize what was going on. You use something called Robert's Rules of Order when you're in your meetings, but I realized that like none of the rules that people were using were written down. So it just seemed like there were, and speaking with other senators, it seemed that there was a lot of unwritten rules between people that had already been here, and it made it seem very unwelcoming and kind of frustrating, especially for me trying to enforce the rules, but also to new senators, that it seemed very unwelcoming, and kind of let them know who the actual real players are, who should be speaking up, who you should be listening to, which I didn't really think is fair, because I think every senator should have kind of that equal standing when they walk in. So what I did is I tried to write everything down, and I think I did and make sure that the rules were actually enforced. So before I came, you had, from my understanding, no idea when you were supposed to stop speaking. And so it was kind of stressful, like, okay, should I stop now? Should I stop now? Should I be like looking for an eye cues? I remember Senator Lopez stood up for his Senate speech to like tell everyone why you should vote for him to be an at-large senator. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to cut him off, because it didn't seem fair to have him speak for an extra long period of time versus everyone else. So I just had to like yell and cut him off, and it didn't seem fair. So I introduced the rule, which I know everybody kind of knows me now, is so when you have 30 seconds left when you speak, you hear a tap. 15 seconds, 2 taps. And finally, 3 taps when you're done. And then I keep banging you down repeatedly. But there were other rules too that I wanted to install or make sure people knew about, so that everybody knew when to stand up or sit down. So I tried to write down all of the rules in a document, which everybody should get eventually. I do hope you read it, because I do hope next Senate, when everybody's getting confirmed and you have a pro temp nomination coming out, that everybody here, even those new senators, get to speak on who their pro temp is, or get to question people when you're trying to confirm or trying to figure out who your friends are going to be in the other branches. So I felt like it was a very productive year, and I wanted to thank Richard for taking a chance on me to be parliamentarian. And I do hope that you do have some fun with whoever your parliamentarian is next year, and don't take it personally if you're this, because it means that you're using all of your time, which I think is kind of a good thing. And I do hope you stand up and speak and you know how to do so. So thank you guys.
All right. Thank you for that, Clark. Next, I want to welcome legislation monitors Amy Rhodes and Kinley Miller to the podium, and they're going to summarize our legislation passed this year and give out our first award, which is Legislation of the Year.
Okay, hi guys. For those of you who are not new, you guys probably have heard too much of me over this year, but I'm gonna give a quick little summary for everybody who's new about what we do. So the legislation monitors are sort of, in some respects, the paper pushers. So when legislation is passed in committee, it comes to us and we would format it, number it, make sure it goes to rules, it gets passed by rules, and then we get the pleasure of emailing you guys every other week or so of what all you'll be voting on. And then we also make the newsletter for the Senate body. It's called the Senatorial Comment. It's great. It was my baby. I started it last year. Oh my gosh, and now I have to graduate and somebody else is gonna do it, but it'll be fun. And and then after stuff gets passed, we make sure it gets signed by everybody who needs to have it signed. So we've had a super great productive year. So this year there were 34 pieces of legislation that came to the Senate floor, 33 of which were passed. And we had 23 bills and 11 resolutions. And the committees that passed legislation included GovOps, academics, student life, external affairs, infrastructure, and we even had committee of the whole this year. Thankfully, not too many times. In total, the terms legislation will amount to 237 signatures once the process is finished, which it's almost finished.
Hey guys, so I'm Kinley. This past year, we published 11 editions of the Senatorial Comment featuring the first ever Senate Olympics, as well as the second ever year in review edition. And we wanted to ensure that our traditions and our duties would continue on. And so we did that by authoring Senate Bill 22.8, 22.9, and 22.10. And we are also hard at work for a last edition of the Senatorial Comment. And thank you to everyone who responded to me when I was reaching out for content and thanked me on the newsletter and told me it looked good, because that was really nice and I liked it.
And we're super happy because we get the pleasure to present the legislation of the year. And Richard asked us for our recommendation for this award, and we both kind of knew right away the piece that we felt made the biggest statement of the year, not just for our students, but for our university and for the state of Mississippi as well. We are proud of all the legislation this year and the hard work of all of our senators and our legates and our leg council. But we would like to take a moment to appreciate the piece that we thought deserves some extra recognition. And so the authors all have certificates. So when we call your names, please come up and we'll get a little picture afterwards too.
So the Legislation of the Year award goes to Senate Resolution 22.3, supporting student and faculty academic freedom and freedom of speech. With the authors Senator Ryan, Senator Purcell, Senator Harris, Senator Ashmore, Senator Monroe, Senator Neighbors, Senator Osmond, Principal Flores, and Principal Hubbard come forward to accept their award.
I think you're going to literally be the last one. Ready? Let's stop. Jen Purcell. Yes, there you go. Oh, you snuck up on me.
All right. Congratulations to our authors for that award. And thank you, Emmy and Kinley, for that summary of the year. Finally, last but not least on our leg council, I'd like to invite Olivia Maurer, our Senate historian, to the podium to summarize the work of the Research and Development Council from this year and to award our second and final award, the Legislative Aid of the Year.
Hey y'all. So part of my job this year was working with our legislative aides throughout the year to help them get acclimated to the Senate and also the Associate Student Body and their first semester being on campus. So last term was the first time that we had the Research and Development Council in a long time. It was in the code, but we hadn't been using it for I don't know how long, but it was back. So last year, the leg aides really focused on the research aspect and just getting a sense of the student body's needs. So one of my goals for this year was to have them produce their own original piece of legislation, which they did. They worked to research, write, and present Senate Resolution 22-6, which passed with unanimous consent. So yeah, go them. And now I'm going to present the award for Legislative Aid of the Year. This individual has worked tirelessly throughout the year, not only just on research and development projects, but also really took initiative within their committee. They have shown consistency, dedication, and a commitment to making sure everyone's opinions are heard, which I believe are crucial aspects that make a good leader. I'm so excited to see everything that they do in ASB in the future, and this award goes to Helen Phillips.
All right, thank you to Olivia and our Legislative Council for those remarks, and congratulations to Helen and our authors for winning those awards. All right, we're kind of getting to the home stretch here of our program tonight. So finally, I kind of wanted to do a transition of the gavel. So we've never before done like a passing of the gavel. So before I do that, I'm going to give just a brief reflection on the year. Outgoing senators, this is the last time y'all will have to hear me speak. And so, like I said, I'm not good at improv, so I will be reading for this one. So this is to both our incoming and our outgoing senators and our legislative council. In everything I've done or tried to do this year, I've let one question guide me. How can I better serve you all as my fellow leaders to feel empowered and equipped to make the changes you want to make and advocate for the people that matter most on our campus? So being the math major I am, I want to throw out some numbers to y'all to kind of represent the year we've had. So after one Senate orientation, one ASB orientation, 2 Meet Your Senator nights, 11 formal Senates, 5 informal Senate panels, 24 committee meetings for each of you, 11 elected at-large senators, and 33 completed pieces of legislation, y'all made it to the finish line. So I definitely think that that deserves a round of applause. And like several of our outgoing senators have mentioned tonight, those numbers definitely don't reflect everything that our Senate does. The hours spent outside of the Senate chamber in meetings with our faculty, staff, facilities, and our administrators, working events like ASB 365 and engaging with the community. And all of those external engagements are what make everything that happens in the chamber possible. I know that Dean Marsh and Dr. Begees can verify that I always have something new that Senate's been working on to brag to them on y'all about. So for that, I want to thank y'all. For a second, I want to talk about our organization as a whole, the Associated Student Body. We make up just one third of that organization, but you're all becoming or leaving or staying members of the organization. So since I've been here at Ole Miss, it's been through its ups and downs in the court of public opinion, as I'm sure some of our older senators might know. The Daily Mississippians never strayed from shining the light on our organization. So that's something that, I've seen, but something that's stayed consistent have been the people, which you guys are a lot of them. From day one, this group and its members have done an outstanding job and an incredible amount of work and service for students behind the scenes that you don't really know unless you get involved in the organization. So to the outgoing members of ASB, and I'm telling myself this as well, whether you're graduating or you've gotten tired of putting up with us, which is understandable, I want to thank you because the job that you've done doesn't come with a lot of thank yous. And so I've tried to be as vocal about that as I can this year. And to the incoming members of our body, I want you to know that the responsibilities you're about to take on are meaningful. As I've told Vice President-elect Neighbors several times, and as Dean Marsh said earlier, you'll get as much out of this job as you put into it. So I hope that you equally work for the student body and work hard, but also take time for yourself to enjoy all that this university has to offer because the opportunities here are limitless. And of course, I have to thank a few people, obviously. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my wonderful lead council members who y'all just heard speak and who some aren't here tonight. But Jenna, Abby, Caroline, Amy, Kenley, Olivia, and Clark, and even Jake, who you just heard speak. They've worked tirelessly this year behind the scenes to make each Senate meeting possible and each event possible. So I seriously could not have done it without y'all, and I hope y'all will join me in giving them a round of applause. I also have to extend thanks to our President Pro Tempore, Lila Osman. She did a fantastic job, and I think, as I've heard a lot of administrators say recently, it's hard leading a group of leaders, but she did a great job doing that and for our Rules Committee, and I also have to thank our committee chairs for all of their hard work. And I know that Lila will do a wonderful job as the ASB president next year, so if y'all will help me thank her. I also have to say thank you to our ASB advisors sitting in the back. They're always in the back of the room, at each Senate supporting me, Will, Sophie, Haley, and Edward, for always being my biggest supporters. Y'all give me the confidence to lead, and y'all are four of my biggest role models and mentors, so thank y'all. I promise I'm almost done. Finally, I want to thank arguably one of the more important people in the room, Vice President-elect Alex Neighbors, for running for this position. And I want to congratulate our incoming senators on having a fantastic incoming ASB vice president. I know y'all are going to do amazing things with her leadership next year. And I know that your care and passion for serving this university will be evident in your work. So if y'all will help me congratulate Alex. So to all of our senators, lead council members, and guests, thank you all so very much for a wonderful year. And I truly couldn't have done that without y'all. So now I'm sure you're tired of hearing me speak, so let's transition on to the passing of the gavel. If y'all will help me welcome Vice President-elect Neighbors to the front. I don't have anything to say for this part, so I'm just gonna do this and then take a picture. Yeah, sure.
My next superlative is going to be most likely to drop the gavel as soon as she gets her.
Before you leave, Richard, I think we would all like a big thank you. Hold on, I have something to say, but I had to highlight it. That's the point. It wasn't in the book program. So as you all know, past senators, I think that I can speak for everyone. I say Richard has been a tremendous leader and resource for all of us this year. And as a happy birthday and a parting gift, we would like to give you this big gift. Yeah. I mean, an unboxing. It's like 6 months.
Richard's moving to the Big Apple to pursue a big boy job, so we wanted to give him a little
passport. Yeah. Woo! So everyone, give me a big round of applause for Richard. big shoes to fill. That's all I have to say. But I am so thankful for the leadership Richard has shown me over just, especially even the last few weeks, transitioning. I know that I have really big shoes to fill, but I'm very confident that I can do a great job because he's only a phone call away. And our great advisors are going to be here to support us. And so just a couple words to incoming senators. As some of you may have known, I'm Alex Neighbors. For those of you I haven't met yet, I can't wait to meet you. I'm so excited that you are all here tonight. And after speaking with several of you tonight, and then, in the couple weeks before this, I am very confident that we have a really productive year ahead of us. Tonight, you were able to get a glimpse into your role as a senator, but hopefully also a glimpse into the connections and relationships that you have to look forward to with your fellow senators and other members of ASB. Just like most things in college, as Richard said, Senate is what you make of it, and you get out what you put in. This applies to your work advocating for the students who elected you, the relationships you make within this organization, and how we shape the legacy of ASB. We are presented with the first real year outside of the COVID sphere. We hold a unique opportunity to shape the future of ASB, and you get to be a part of it. The hard work and dedication starts here, but so do the countless laughs, memories, and friendships that you'll make along the way. I know our time is limited this semester, and I'm sure each of you is both eager and nervous to step into your new role. I wanted to give you my assurance that I am here to serve the Senate and each of you to the best of my ability, and I hope that you'll give me the grace in the process, because Richard honestly is a very hard vice president to follow. I will charge each of you tonight to remember the importance of your position and that your work makes a difference on this campus. It matters, but how much just depends on you. Hundreds of senators and ASB members have come before us, paving the way for us to have a voice on this campus and the power to make change as we see fit. I expect great things from each of you, and I'm truly honored to serve you all this year. So with that, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm also really lucky that Richard already had the rest of the script going because I did not. So I think that almost concludes our most of our programming, but we are going to move into a period of announcements and senatorial comments. So first, we'll move into a period of senatorial comments. Is there anyone wishing to make a comment? Senator Mattson.
All right, I've already talked a lot, so I'll try to conclude things close to 9. So I guess I want to really push on to all of you new senators. It's a really nice feeling to know that I'm washed up now, and I mean that like the strongest way. I just want to really press on y'all what a unique opportunity that you guys have. Not everybody gets to fill the shoes that you guys get to fill. I know the meetings sometimes can be long. I know some of the work that we can do can be hard, but this is really an opportunity that comes only once in a lifetime. And it honestly is, you're pressing upon it again and again. It's really truly up to you. I've done ASB last year, and I didn't really do much. I was very much hanging in the back a little bit, just enjoying watching the fireworks. But I only really had and got the most out of it when I decided I'm not going to half-ass this. I'll just go for it. That is when I really got to enjoy it. So you guys have a unique opportunity. It's a unique opportunity to make change, to be the change that you wish to see in the world. That's a Gandhi quote. But I really think it's such a cool opportunity. Anyone that you ever want to talk to, anyone that you want to ever meet with, any kind of opportunity that you want to pursue, it's all open to you. Because you guys aren't just names. You guys are representing people. You guys are representing the university, and that means something. I wouldn't have been able to do any of the things that I wanted to do, I decided to do this year. Whether it's meeting with the mayor or doing OPD stuff, or just honestly just meeting with administrators. You're only able to do it because of the people that you represent. And that's the thing I want you guys to remember. You guys represent people, and you represent this university. So there's two types of ways you can go about this. You can represent it by not really doing much, by just kind of hanging back and doing through the meetings as fast as you can. Or you can really just take charge. Decide that this is going to be my year. It's going to be hard, it's going to be annoying, the sessions are going to be long. But this is something I can look back on when I'm graduated through like I'm about to do, and be extremely washed up. But you can look back on it saying that I didn't decide to do what was easy. I didn't just decide to do what everybody else would have done. I wanted to do something myself, and I wanted to make a mark on this campus. Because that's what you all ran for, and that's what you all have. the chance to make a mark on this campus. Whether that's in academics, whether it's in infrastructure, or whether it's an external affairs that you should all apply for. You're really able to make a mark that lasts much longer than just your 4 years or 5 years if you do your life. But it is like an opportunity that is truly once in a lifetime. So I just want to quickly express that on all y'all, because I had to remember it myself again and again as I kept going. It's going to be hard, but God is the most fulfilling thing sometimes. So really, again, new senators, enjoy it as I really did. And I just want to go ahead, appreciate good old birthday boy Richard. All the people that were in the rules committee, Will Dedman, I wish Richard Farley hits. And I know we were truly in good hands when it comes to this next year. I could not have picked a better power trio than Maddie Ryan, Lila Osmond, and Alex David. So you guys are in good hands. Really, truly, you guys have the opportunity. You have the golden goose right in front of you. It takes effort to get it, but just go and grab it. So you don't.
Thanks, Bennett. Senator Jones Burdick.
Okay, so I will not give a bit of nonsense. I just want to thank you all for being here tonight. For those that are incredibly eager, I have a meeting as soon as tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. For incoming or outgoing senators. If you're interested, it's with OPD tomorrow, but I'm going to drop my number in the chat. So, you know, like, I can start it now. And I would really appreciate some of y'all's input, well, actually all of y'all's input on some of these issues that I have still going on. And if you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have a lot of opportunities that I want to share with y'all. So I am here making my time.
Senator Kelly. Oh.
But like I said, we are pushing programming for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and if y'all have any ideas, please contact me if you want to help me put on some of this stuff. I would greatly appreciate the help. But if you have any questions, please come up to me after Senate, DM me, text me, do whatever. But literally anything will help.
Thank you. Senator Osmond.
But I'm really excited for y'all. Y'all really do have a really unique opportunity here. I know I can never imagine without the students, because you know, as like we feel this happens someday. You really have a really unique opportunity being in here. Senate gave me a voice. I really never knew that I could do all the things that I could do. And civically helped me find myself, which is interested, and it helped me realize that this university is never going to stop growing and changing, and that is because of people in this room. So while I was sadly no longer be sitting in the front row, I will always be in the back row. But I'm really excited to see everything y'all do. I really hope that we can foster a really great relationship between the Board of General Comments now and you know, no strangers in Senate. But I'm really looking forward to see everything that I'll do. If y'all really need anything, that's but y'all are also great friends with Alex, and I'm really excited for everything that we're going to do together.
Thank you, President-elect Osmond. And also plug for her cabinet applications are also open. So if you have any friends. Okay, any more? My very still legged Dylan, you're recognized. I think.
One of the best experiences I've ever had. I'm just so glad I did it. And almost like it, couldn't ask for anyone better. Yeah. Olivia, couldn't ask for better.
Yeah. So cute. That's only fitting because at the end of every single one of our academic committee meetings, I make Dylan give us like some wise words of wisdom to share, and then we get off of Zoom. So, okay, are there any other comments? I'm sorry, I did not.
I'm not going to tell jokes either. I did it once. I just woke you up. I'm going to do it now too. You're lucky. Dylan saw what I was going to say. I was going to thank Olivia again. I had a great time.
I was gonna tell the story about when I was gonna go see the secretary over at the laptop thing, but I'll say that. I almost said a no word, but I didn't. With ASB's reputation, there you go. Thank you for the chairs next year. I think you're the one that decided what the delegate opportunity does. When I did my interview, I think I did it with Olivia instead of Richard, I'm sorry. I was super nervous. I thought I watched it because I did it, and as soon as I hit end on Zoom, I was like, I'm not getting this. And then I got an email that Sunday saying, hey, you got it. I was like, whoa. And then I met Bennett. I was like, whoa, how did I get this messed up? But I just want to really emphasize that this is a great opportunity. I've met some freshman friends that I'll have for the next 3 years. Maybe not that, but we'll see about it. Yeah, we'll just get to the next committee chairs. Take care of your freshmen because they're going to go a long way.
All right, are there any other senators wishing to make comment? Senator Purcell.
Okay, I will have to come on your time because it's getting late, but I just wanted to thank everybody. I decided kind of on a whim to run for an at-large seat. Back when I came here to the school, I had never even been to the state of Mississippi before I came here to school. COVID, and honestly, it was kind of a harder transition than I expected. Being from Wisconsin, it's just different. But one thing, I was involved in student government during my undergrad. That's another thing. I'm like, other people. So I was worried I wasn't gonna really fit in, I guess, and be able to contribute as much. But the second I got involved with ASB, I felt very welcomed and Lila, all y'all that just like answered all of my questions all the time were very helpful, and I appreciate your patience with me. And then I did not have time to run for a Senate connection. So hopefully
I'll let you know.
But I just wanted to thank all of you for helping me kind of find my place here on campus.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any other senators wishing to make a comment? Okay, seeing there are none, we will now move into a period of announcements. Is there anyone wishing to make an announcement? Okay, well, I'm Amy Rhodes.
Last edition of the senatorial comment will be coming out. Keep your eyes out.
Okay, so I know, oh, and Kinley Miller. Okay, so next announce, Maddie Ryan, did you have something to say? Oh, I can't. Announcement. Applications for all branches are open until the 8th. And so if you tell your friends or you're thinking of applying on the ASB Instagram and I believe other social medias, there are links to the applications and the description of the roles, as well as the opportunity to reach out to any of us. Current senators will be able to contact you and new senators who have questions. Please talk to your friends. Like, these people up here run Senate. Like, these are the people that make our lives way easier. So having great people in those positions are really important. So if you do have friends that you want to drag here every Tuesday night as well, then that's even more fun. So please encourage people to apply for cabinet, DOJ, judicial, and treasury. So all of those are open, and the secretary's department, all of those are open. Sorry, there's like so many. Those are all open until the 8th. So I really, really, really encourage y'all to apply because those are very important positions within our organization. Yeah, incoming senators, I don't think you're, don't do that. Don't apply. You do not apply for that. Your friends, outgoing senators that are not coming back. Okay, I know this was long tonight, y'all, but I think it was really important to give y'all a glimpse into what you're looking forward to in the year, because in a year, this will be you. So thank you guys for being so patient tonight. And our first formal Senate will be Tuesday, the 19th at 6 p.m. in 6 p.m. in the Senate chambers downstairs. Yeah. So that will I'm going to give you a brief little look-alike. I'll be sending out some emails with more detailed information. but we're getting there at 6. We're electing a pro temp. Well, first we're inaugurating y'all, electing a pro temp, doing several things, and then other people are going to join so we can confirm the respective branches nominations. So I know it's going to be kind of confusing, and I'm going to do my best to give you guys the resources to be prepared for that meeting so that you guys don't feel like some senators did, when Clark was here and no one knew what they were doing. I don't want you to feel that way, but it is a lot to learn, and there is a lot we have to do in that meeting to get done really quickly because we're so short on time at the end of the year. So bear with us, ask questions, be patient, and I really appreciate you all coming out tonight. And having concluded all business at hand, this meeting is adjourned at 9:11 p.m.
That was wild. That was a fever dream.
Everyone, hey, quick announcement. Everyone, you guys all look great. We're really proud of y'all. Something to really continue this networking that we're having. And living up to my namesake, we're going to be having the last Senate After Dark for, of course, Richard's birthday. Look how cute he looks. We're going to be going to Penny Bar, so feel free to come. Yeah, new and old senators tonight. What? Oh, it's under Moe's.
Left my water up here the entire time.
I left my phone up here the whole time.
I would have, that would be,
Thank y'all.